The annual royal parade was the highlight of the summer. Imagine a river of scarlet uniforms flowing down a wide avenue, each soldier moving in perfect step. Sunlight glinted off polished helmets and the brass instruments of the marching band. The music, a mix of traditional marches and upbeat melodies, filled the air, making your heart swell with pride. Crowds lined the streets, waving flags and cheering. Little children sat on their parents' shoulders, their eyes wide with wonder. Flags of all sizes fluttered in the breeze, a kaleidoscope of colors against the backdrop of grand, historic buildings. Banners proclaiming messages of unity and celebration hung from lampposts. The air buzzed with excitement. People had camped out for hours to secure the best viewing spots. Families picnicked on blankets, sharing sandwiches and stories. The atmosphere was one of pure joy and anticipation. Even the pigeons seemed to be caught up in the festive mood, strutting about with extra swagger. The parade route was meticulously planned, every detail carefully considered. Barriers kept the crowd safely behind the designated lines, while security personnel kept a watchful eye. The Royal Guard, the stars of the show, had spent weeks preparing for this moment. Their dedication and precision were legendary. This year, the parade was even more special. It marked a significant anniversary for the royal family, adding an extra layer of significance to the occasion. Everyone felt a sense of history and tradition, a connection to something bigger than themselves. The royal parade wasn't just a spectacle. It was a symbol of national pride and unity, a chance to celebrate the best of what the country represented. It was a day where everyone, young and old, rich and poor, could come together and share in a moment of collective joy. But the royal parade wasn't just about spectacle. It was built upon a foundation of unwavering discipline and rigorous training. The Royal Guards, those stoic figures in their scarlet tunics and bearskin hats, weren't simply chosen for their height or appearance. They were the best of the best, handpicked from the armed forces and subjected to an intense program designed to forge them into symbols of unwavering resolve. Imagine months of relentless drills, hours spent perfecting every step, every salute, every movement. They learned to stand perfectly still for hours, ignoring the heat, the noise, and the occasional heckler. Their training wasn't just physical, it was mental. They had to learn to control their emotions, to remain focused under pressure, to react instantly to any threat. The selection process was brutal. Many candidates washed out, unable to meet the exacting standards. Those who remained were forged in the crucible of discipline, emerging as something more than just soldiers. They were guardians of tradition, symbols of national pride, and embodiments of unwavering duty. Their days began before dawn with intense physical exercise, followed by hours of weapons training and parade drills. They studied military history and royal protocol, learning the intricate details of their roles. Every aspect of their lives was regimented, from their meals to their sleeping habits. But the training wasn't just about following orders. It was about developing a deep sense of responsibility and a commitment to excellence. The Royal Guards understood that they were representing their country and their queen, and they took that responsibility very seriously. Their impeccable appearance, their unwavering focus, and their unwavering dedication were a testament to their rigorous training and their unwavering commitment to duty. They were the embodiment of precision, discipline, and unwavering loyalty. While the guards represented order and precision, a stark contrast was about to appear in the form of a small, scruffy stray dog. He was a whirlwind of brown fur and boundless energy, a creature of instinct and survival. We'll call him Lucky. Lucky had known nothing but the harsh realities of the streets. He scavenged for scraps, dodged traffic, and sought shelter wherever he could find it. His ribs showed through his matted fur, a testament to his constant hunger. But despite his difficult life, Lucky possessed an unwavering spirit and a trusting heart. He wasn't sure what all the commotion was about. The loud music and cheering crowds were overwhelming, a sensory overload for a little dog who was used to the quiet corners of alleyways. The smells of food wafting from the picnic blankets were tempting, but fear kept him at bay. He'd likely been drawn by the sheer volume of people, hoping for a kind hand or a dropped crumb. He'd learned that humans could be both a source of danger and a source of comfort. He'd had a few gentle pats on the head in his life, and those fleeting moments of kindness were enough to keep him searching. He was small, maybe knee-high to a grown-up, with big, pleading eyes that seemed to ask for nothing more than a little bit of love and a full belly. His tail, though often tucked between his legs in fear, would wag tentatively when he sensed kindness. He was a survivor, a testament to the resilience of the animal spirit. He was also, unknowingly, about to stumble into the biggest adventure of his short life, an adventure that would change his life and the lives of those watching the parade forever. Driven by hunger and a sliver of hope, Lucky squeezed through a gap in the crowd barriers. The scent of roasted chicken from a nearby picnic basket was too much to resist. He darted forward, his little legs a blur, oblivious to the grandeur and importance of the event unfolding before him. He didn't understand the concept of a parade, the significance of the marching soldiers, or the importance of maintaining order. All he knew was that his stomach was empty, and the smell of food was overwhelming. His focus narrowed to that picnic basket, a beacon of hope in a world of uncertainty. Suddenly, he was on the parade route, a tiny brown blur against a sea of scarlet uniforms. The marching band was approaching, their instruments gleaming in the sunlight. The soldiers, with their unwavering focus, were completely unaware of the small intruder who had breached their ranks. The crowd gasped. A collective murmur rippled through the onlookers as they realized what was happening. Some screamed, others pointed, and a few even tried to warn the soldiers, but their voices were lost in the din of the music and the cheering. Lucky, startled by the sudden appearance of the marching band, froze in his tracks. He looked around in confusion, his tail tucked tightly between his legs. He was trapped, caught in the middle of a spectacle he didn't understand. Panic began to set in as the marching soldiers grew closer and closer, their boots pounding the pavement in perfect unison. He was about to become an unfortunate casualty of the royal parade. The carefully orchestrated event was on the verge of descending into chaos. Amidst the chaos, one figure stood out: Sergeant Major Davies. A veteran of countless parades and ceremonies, he was the epitome of calm and composure. His face, usually stern and unyielding, registered a flicker of surprise as he saw the small dog dart into the parade route. But his training kicked in instantly. Sergeant Major Davies was known for his sharp eyes and even sharper reflexes. He had spent years honing his skills, anticipating potential problems and reacting swiftly to any unexpected event. He had seen it all, from unruly crowds to equipment malfunctions, but never before had he encountered a stray dog disrupting the royal parade. His mind raced. He knew that any sudden movement could disrupt the formation and potentially cause a chain reaction. He also knew that the dog was in imminent danger. He had a split second to make a decision, a choice that could have far-reaching consequences. He assessed the situation with lightning speed. The dog was small and vulnerable, the marching band was rapidly approaching, and the crowd was in a state of near panic. He knew he couldn't afford to hesitate. He had to act, and he had to act decisively. He shifted his weight slightly, preparing to move. His eyes narrowed, focusing on the dog. He blocked out the noise of the crowd and the music of the band, concentrating solely on the task at hand. He was a machine programmed to react, to protect, to serve. Now, he was about to put his training to the ultimate test. Time seemed to slow down. The pounding of the marching band's drums echoed in Sergeant Major Davies' ears, each beat a reminder of the precious seconds ticking away. The dog, a small, trembling ball of fur, looked up at him with wide, pleading eyes. In that instant, Davies faced a conflict between duty and compassion. On one hand, he was sworn to uphold the traditions of the Royal Guard, to maintain the integrity of the parade formation, no matter what. Any deviation from the plan could be seen as a sign of weakness, a breach of protocol. On the other hand, he was a human being with a heart. He couldn't stand by and watch as an innocent creature was trampled underfoot. He knew that saving the dog would mean breaking ranks, potentially jeopardizing the entire parade. But he also knew that doing nothing would haunt him for the rest of his life. His mind replayed snippets of his training, Discipline above all else, his drill sergeant had barked. But another voice, a softer one, whispered, do what is right. The weight of his decision pressed down on him, heavy and suffocating. He glanced at the crowd, seeing a mixture of fear and anticipation in their faces. He knew they were watching him, judging him, wondering what he would do. He took a deep breath, steeling his resolve. He couldn't let them down. He couldn't let the dog down. The moments stretched on, an eternity compressed into a single heartbeat. The marching band was almost upon them. The decision had to be made, and it had to be made now. Duty versus compassion. Tradition versus humanity. What would he choose? With a surge of adrenaline, Sergeant Major Davies made his choice. He couldn't abandon the dog. He bent his knees slightly, maintaining his upright posture, and in one swift, fluid motion, he reached down and scooped up Lucky. His movement was so precise, so controlled, that it barely disrupted the parade formation. It was as if he had practiced the maneuver 1,000 times. He cradled Lucky securely in his arms, careful not to squeeze him too tightly. The crowd gasped again, this time in amazement. They couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. A Royal Guard, breaking rank, showing compassion, all without missing a beat. It was an act of unexpected heroism, a moment of pure humanity amidst the pomp and circumstance of the royal parade. The marching band continued to play, oblivious to the drama that had just unfolded. The soldiers marched on, their faces impassive, their movements perfectly synchronized. But in the eyes of the crowd, everything had changed. Sergeant Major Davies continued to march, carrying Lucky as if he were the most precious cargo in the world. He kept his eyes fixed straight ahead, his expression unwavering. But inside, his heart was pounding. He had broken the rules, defied expectations, and risked his career, all for a small, scruffy stray dog. He wondered what the consequences would be, but in that moment he didn't care. He had done what he believed was right, and that was all that mattered. The parade, in that instant, became secondary. The cheers erupted like a wave, washing over Sergeant Major Davies and the marching band. The crowd, initially tense with fear, now roared with approval. They stomped their feet, clapped their hands, and waved their flags even more enthusiastically. "Bravo!" someone shouted. "Well done!" others cried. The sound was deafening, a testament to the power of human kindness and the unexpected joy of witnessing a selfless act. Even some of the other guards, their faces still stoic, seemed to crack a slight smile. A ripple of warmth spread through the ranks, a shared understanding of the extraordinary moment they had all just witnessed. The parade had become something more than just a display of military precision. It had become a celebration of compassion and humanity. News of the rescue spread through the crowd like wildfire. People shared the story with their neighbors, their voices filled with excitement and admiration. Children pointed and giggled, their eyes wide with wonder. The event had transformed from a formal parade into a heartwarming spectacle. Selfies began to pop up on social media, pictures of Sergeant Major Davies marching with Lucky in his arms. The images went viral instantly, spreading across the globe and capturing the hearts of millions. The hashtag Royal Rescue trended worldwide, a symbol of hope and kindness in a world often filled with negativity. The event became an instant legend. Nestled in Sergeant Major Davies' arms, Lucky, who had been trembling with fear, began to relax. The warmth of the guard's uniform and the gentle rhythm of his marching were surprisingly comforting. He cautiously lifted his head, his big brown eyes peering out at the cheering crowd. He didn't understand the cheers, but he sensed the positive energy, the outpouring of love and support. It was unlike anything he had ever experienced. For the first time in his life, he felt safe and protected. He tentatively licked Sergeant Major Davies' hand, a gesture of gratitude and affection. The guard, though still maintaining his stoic facade, couldn't help but feel a surge of warmth in his heart. He looked down at the little dog, his expression softening ever so slightly. The crowd noticed the interaction and cheered even louder. They were captivated by the bond that had formed between the unlikely pair. The story of the Royal Guard and the stray dog had become a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in the most formal and regimented settings, kindness and compassion could prevail. As the parade continued, Lucky became more confident, his tail wagging tentatively. He seemed to enjoy the attention, the cheers, and the adulation. He had gone from being a scared, lonely stray to a beloved celebrity in a matter of minutes. His life had been transformed in the most unexpected way possible. He was finally home, even if he didn't know it yet. The royal parade continued, but the atmosphere had shifted. The initial formality and rigid structure had been replaced by a sense of warmth and camaraderie. The soldiers, though still marching in perfect unison, seemed to have a newfound spring in their step. The crowd, energized by the heartwarming rescue, cheered with even greater enthusiasm. Sergeant Major Davies, still carrying Lucky, became the unexpected star of the show. People lined the streets, eager to catch a glimpse of the unlikely pair. They waved, smiled, and called out words of encouragement. The entire city seemed to be united in their appreciation for the Guard's act of kindness. Even the royal family, who were observing the parade from a nearby balcony, were touched by the story. They exchanged smiles and nods of approval, recognizing the significance of the moment. The rescue had not only saved a dog's life but had also captured the hearts of the nation. The incident, initially a potential disaster, had become a symbol of everything that was good and right about the country. It was a reminder that even in the most formal and traditional settings, there was always room for compassion, kindness, and human connection. The parade, which had started as a celebration of national pride, had evolved into a celebration of humanity. As the parade drew to a close, Sergeant Major Davies couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. He had faced a difficult decision, made a courageous choice, and inspired an entire nation. He had also, unknowingly, changed his life forever. The days that followed were a whirlwind for Sergeant Major Davies. He went from being a relatively unknown figure to an international hero. News outlets from around the world clamored for interviews. He appeared on television shows, gave radio addresses, and was featured in countless newspaper articles. He was praised for his courage, his compassion, and his quick thinking. He became a symbol of hope and kindness in a world often dominated by negativity. He was even nominated for several prestigious awards, including a Medal of Valor for his selfless act. But amidst all the media attention, Sergeant Major Davies remained humble and grounded. He insisted that he had simply done what anyone else would have done in his situation. He downplayed his heroism, emphasizing the importance of compassion and kindness. He used his newfound platform to advocate for animal welfare, encouraging people to adopt stray animals and support local shelters. He became a champion for the underdog, a voice for the voiceless. He visited animal shelters, volunteered his time, and donated generously to their cause. He also received countless letters and messages from people around the world, thanking him for his act of kindness. Many shared stories of their own experiences with stray animals, expressing their gratitude for his compassion. He was touched by the outpouring of support and inspired by the stories of others. Sergeant Major Davies, the stoic Royal Guard, had become an unlikely celebrity, a symbol of hope and a champion for animals. His life had been transformed in the most unexpected way possible, all because of a small, scruffy stray dog named Lucky. The royal family, deeply moved by Sergeant Major Davies's actions and the outpouring of public support, decided to formally recognize his bravery and compassion. An official announcement was made, praising his quick thinking and selfless act. A special ceremony was organized at Buckingham Palace. Sergeant Major Davies, accompanied by Lucky, was invited to meet the Queen. The event was televised, allowing the entire nation to witness the heartwarming occasion. The Queen personally thanked Sergeant Major Davies for his service and his kindness. She praised his dedication to duty and his unwavering commitment to upholding the values of the Royal Guard. She also expressed her admiration for his compassion and his willingness to put the needs of others before his own. As a token of their appreciation, the Queen presented Sergeant Major Davies with a Medal of Honor, a prestigious award given to individuals who have demonstrated exceptional bravery and selflessness. The medal was pinned to his uniform, a symbol of his extraordinary contribution to the country. But the recognition didn't stop there. The royal family also decided to honor Lucky, the little stray dog who had inadvertently sparked this extraordinary chain of events. They announced that Lucky would be given a permanent home at Buckingham Palace, where he would be cared for and loved for the rest of his life. The announcement was met with thunderous applause. The crowd erupted in cheers, celebrating the happy ending to a truly remarkable story. The royal family had not only recognized Sergeant Major Davies's bravery but had also embraced Lucky, welcoming him into their hearts and their home. Life at Buckingham Palace was a dream come true for Lucky. He had his own cozy bed, a never-ending supply of food, and plenty of loving attention from the royal family and the palace staff. He spent his days exploring the vast gardens, playing fetch with the royal children, and napping in sunny spots. He quickly became a beloved member of the royal household, bringing joy and laughter wherever he went. He was often seen trotting alongside the Queen during her morning walks, his tail wagging furiously. He even had his own official portrait painted, which hung in a prominent hallway in the palace. But despite his newfound life of luxury, Lucky never forgot his humble beginnings. He remained a kind and gentle soul, always eager to greet visitors with a friendly wag of his tail. He seemed to understand that he had been given a second chance, and he was determined to make the most of it. Sergeant Major Davies, though no longer required to care for Lucky on a daily basis, remained a constant presence in his life. He visited Lucky regularly, taking him for walks in the park and showering him with affection. The bond between the two unlikely friends remained as strong as ever. And so, Lucky, the little stray dog who had once roamed the streets in search of food and shelter, had found his forever home at Buckingham Palace, living a life of comfort, love, and happiness. His story, a testament to the power of compassion and the transformative potential of kindness, continued to inspire people around the world. The story of Sergeant Major Davies and Lucky served as a powerful reminder that even in the most structured and traditional environments, acts of compassion and kindness can have a profound impact. It demonstrated that heroism doesn't always involve grand gestures or extraordinary feats of bravery. Sometimes, it's as simple as extending a helping hand to those in need. The event also highlighted the importance of animal welfare, inspiring countless people to adopt stray animals and support local shelters. Animal shelters across the country reported a surge in adoptions, as people were moved by Lucky's story and wanted to give other deserving animals a second chance. The Royal Parade Rescue became a symbol of unity, bringing together people from all walks of life in a shared appreciation for compassion and kindness. It transcended social barriers and political divides, reminding everyone of the common humanity that binds us together. The story also showcased the power of social media to spread positive messages and inspire acts of kindness. The hashtag Royal Rescue became a global phenomenon, connecting people from around the world in a shared celebration of compassion. And finally, the story of Sergeant Major Davies and Lucky served as a testament to the transformative power of kindness. It demonstrated that even the smallest act of compassion can have a ripple effect, changing lives, inspiring others, and making the world a better place. It was a story that would be told and retold for generations to come, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for a brighter future. Years passed, and the tale of the Royal Parade Rescue became a beloved legend, retold to children and adults alike. Lucky, the once scruffy stray, lived a long and happy life at Buckingham Palace, always greeted with affection and admiration. Sergeant Major Davies continued his service, forever remembered for his quick thinking and compassionate heart. The event served as a constant reminder that true heroism often lies not in following orders blindly, but in making choices that reflect kindness and empathy. It showed that even in the most rigid of systems, there is always room for humanity. And so, whenever people gathered to watch the royal parade, they remembered Lucky and Sergeant Major Davies, the unlikely pair who had transformed a formal occasion into a celebration of love and compassion. They remembered the power of a single act of kindness to inspire a nation and to change the world, one heart at a time. The story lived on, not just in history books and news archives, but in the hearts of everyone who heard it. It was a story about hope, about courage, and about the extraordinary things that can happen when we choose to be kind. So, the next time you see someone in need, remember Lucky and Sergeant Major Davies. Remember that even the smallest act of compassion can make a difference. Remember that true heroism lies not in power or authority, but in the simple act of caring. And remember that even a scruffy stray dog can change the world, one kind heart at a time. Be kind, be brave, and be the change you wish to see in the world.